Alright, so the last thing we're going to talk about is credit cards. It's always important to understand how your credit card works, alright, and understand how paying off your credit card works and all that. So again, credit cards have different conditions. You have to read your conditions and understand your conditions. Some have fees that you have to check out, although most don't anymore. Your big ones don't have fees, but you do have to make sure. If you get one through your bank or something like that, sometimes they have fees, and interest rates vary. Some have lower, some have higher, and actually they vary by individual sometimes. And the how much you have to make as a minimum payment varies from credit card to credit card, from person to person. Most will give you no finance charge, meaning they won't add anything, no interest added, if you pay the amount owed each month. So if you it is borrowing, right? That's what a credit card is. You're borrowing money monthly in order to buy stuff, and then you pay it off. Either pay it off right away at the end of the month. If you pay it off right away at the end of the month, nothing's extra. You don't pay anything extra. If you don't pay it off right away, then you incur interest, and it's usually a heavy amount. It's usually a fairly large amount. Alright, so to figure out how much interest they charge you, alright, you on your credit card. So you figure out the previous balance, you subtract any payments that you made during the month to your credit card, and you don't have to pay it. This is what a lot of people don't understand with credit cards. You don't have to wait to the end of the month to pay off your credit card. You can pay it off throughout the month. Right? Actually, it helps your credit. So if I charge on my credit card a little bit, every month, and then suppose 2 weeks into the month I decided to go on and pay off a little bit of it instead of waiting until the end of the month to pay it all off. All right, it actually helps your credit to do that. The earlier you pay off your credit card, the better your credit score will be. All right, now again, that's something I didn't learn until I got a little bit older. Alright, so to figure out, though, in case you don't pay it off right away, well, how much interest do you incur if you don't pay it off? Alright, so you take your previous balance minus any payments that you make and add any new purchases to your credit card. Alright, so the new balance is subject to the finance charge. Alright, so you take your finance charge. Your finance charge is, again, the finance charge is going to come from your monthly interest rate. And it's the same monthly interest rate, just so you know the monthly interest rate. Is the APR listed divided by 12. And again, APR is given as a decimal. That is the monthly interest. That's how much interest you incur on whatever the debt it is that you haven't paid off. Alright, that's the finance charge, where you get your finance charges. Right, so I'm going to walk you through an example. Suppose your previous statement on your credit card was $850, right? That's how much is still on your credit card that you haven't paid off. You make a small payment of $125. You pay a little bit off. Oh, wait, sorry. You make more purchases. So you add to your debt of $125. You make a small payment, probably your minimum payment of $65. Your credit card has an APR of 25%, which is typical for credit cards. Credit cards typically range from 20 to 30% APR. Right? Again, that would be the annual percentage rate. You would have to figure out the monthly percentage rate once you get to the you divide that out by month. That would be the monthly rate. All right, starting off though, how much is going to be subject to that monthly interest rate? So how much money are you going to take the percentage of that you're going to add the interest to? All right. Well, to do that, that's the amount subject to the finance charge. So previous balance minus payments plus purchases. So how much you have to figure out the interest on. Well, your previous balance was $850. You paid off 65 of that, but then you added another 125, which means now you have $910 of debt. That's how much you owe that you didn't pay off that month. And so that amount is subject to the interest rate, the monthly interest rate. And so the finance charge has to do with the monthly interest rate. You take monthly interest rate times the amount subject to your finance charge. And that's the interest charged. Alright, so monthly interest rate, well, that would be your APR of 0.25 divided by 12. Right, monthly interest rate is your APR divided by the 12 months times the amount that you owe, basically, $910. And so the interest charge is $18.94 this month. So the new balance would be the $910 plus $18.94, and so the new debt for the next month, if you don't pay it off, would be $928.94. All right, let's do another example. All right, the previous statement on your credit card has a balance of $5,000. You make another, so that's how much you owe. All right, your balance is $5,000. You decide to make purchases of $800 that next month and a payment of $300. The credit card has an APR of 29%. All right, so again, how much of the money is going to be subject to a finance charge? Well, you take the previous amount minus how much you paid off of the debt. So you had $5,000 in debt, you paid off $300 in debt, but then you added another $800 to your debt, so now you owe $5,500. All right, that's the debt that you owe. Which that debt is what's subject to the finance charge. The finance charge is the monthly interest rate, so you take your APR as a decimal, which is 29.29, divide by 12, times the 5,500, and so this is the additional charge, the added interest. So for this month, you added $132.92 in interest. All right, so that's added to your debt. So the new balance would be the $5,500 that you had in debt plus the interest you incurred that month on that debt. So now you owe $5,632.92. All right, the credit card debt is exponential. It grows really fast. The more debt you have, the faster you go further into debt. All right, we're going to talk about that more in the next video, how it works if you only do the minimum payment. Most credit cards have a minimum payment, and you'll see how long it takes to actually pay off your debt if you only make the minimum payment. All right, we'll do that in the next video, though.